Making headlines this hour, Economic Minister Mohammad Saeed says the administration of President Dr. Mohamed Muiz has formally recognized the central role of small businesses in the national economy. Economic Minister Mohammad Saeed refutes recent rumors of a government plan to lease operations of Hanimado Airport to a foreign company. And Tourism Minister Tariq Ibrahim says that the government is confident that Singaporean stakeholders would expand their involvement in the Maldives. Has formally recognized the central role of small business in the country's history. Minister Mohammad Saeed reaffirmed the commitment towards small businesses in a statement marking the 8th anniversary of the Business Centre Corporation. The Economic Minister, writing on his social media account, reflected on the corporation's progress, stating that the BCC, established to bolster small and medium-sized enterprises, has effectively fulfilled its founding mandate over the past 8 years. Minister Saeed stated, quote, "This milestone reminds us that achieving this bold national vision requires ongoing collaboration, commitment, and innovation across institutions, offering an opportunity to deepen partnerships, foster innovation, and build a resilient enabling ecosystem that ensures institutions like BCC remain key drivers of inclusive and sustainable economic growth," unquote. He pointed to the growing momentum within the Maldives entrepreneurial sector, noting the significance of sustaining emerging ventures in a climate increasingly shaped by youth-led innovation. The prioritization of SMEs aligns directly with the President's manifesto, as Minister Saeed detailed the administration's measures to advance small businesses and structure a government-backed creative economy. He identified the current strategy as an unprecedented step in national policy. Integral to this effort is the BCC, which assists entrepreneurs in launching and scaling their ventures while promoting locally produced goods. Minister Saeed underscored the importance of coordinated action among commercial stakeholders to support the Creative Economy Initiative, describing the BCC as a strategic partner. The corporation responded positively to the government's stance, citing it as a strong endorsement of its mission. Across the broader landscape, the administration seeks to harness the country's entrepreneurial energy and youthful ambition to propel economic diversification and inclusive development. The Minister of Economic Development and Trade, Mohammad Saeed, refutes recent rumors of a government plan to lease operations of Hanimado Airport to a foreign company. The entire Hanimado modernization project is expected to be completed by the end of this year, as the project entails several other upgrades to the airport. The project, launched in January 2023, is being executed by JMC Projects India. Alongside the runway and terminal, construction includes a utility building, fuel farm, and airport jetty. As the project nears completion, rumors have surfaced that the government is planning to lease airport operations to a foreign firm. Minister Saeed, in a post on social media platform X, refuted the rumors, insisting that no such discussions had taken place during President Dr. Mohamed Muiz's recent state visit to Singapore. The minister also insisted that the allegations were completely baseless. The construction of the new runway began in January 2023 as part of the Hanimado International Airport redevelopment project. The runway itself was the first major focus, with a new length of 2,465 meters. However, due to conflicts between the old and new runways, the first phase of the project developed a 1,200-meter section of the new runway, which was opened on January 28 this year. While the previous runway could accommodate 150-seater aircraft, the new runway is designed to handle larger planes with capacities of 250 to 300 passengers. The project is valued at $136.6 million and is one of the largest in the atolls of the country. The airport is expected to handle up to 1.3 million passengers annually and accommodate Airbus A320 and Boeing 737 aircraft for international flights, enabling direct routes to Hanimado from around the world. The Hanimado International Airport development is closely linked with the tourism industry and the economy of the atoll, promising significant regional benefits upon completion. Relevant government agencies are working round the clock to expedite the project, with more than 800 staff working on the airport project. The structure of the terminal, the design inspired by the manta ray at Hanimado International Airport, is almost complete. The two-story terminal building's lowest floor is reserved for domestic flights. The first floor will be used for international flights. The first aero bridge used in an airport in the atolls will also be located in Hanimado Airport, with 2 gates on each floor. Under the second phase of development, a seaplane terminal is also planned for Hanimado Airport. Minister of Tourism and Environment Tariq Ibrahim says that the government is confident that Singaporean stakeholders would expand their involvement in the Maldives, particularly in areas deemed critical to its economic development, as the government seeks to strengthen its investment relationship with Singapore by promoting opportunities in tourism and renewable energy. Minister Tariq, speaking to PSM News after the Maldives-Singapore Business Forum, affirmed the government's commitment to fostering a favorable climate for foreign investment. Over 200 investors and business leaders participated in the forum, which provided a platform to outline the country's diversified portfolio of investment prospects. Among the key sessions was a panel discussion where Minister Tariq addressed emerging opportunities, particularly in tourism. According to the minister, some 31 tourism development projects are planned across multiple atolls, including Ha Alif, Ha Dal, Shaviani, Ta, Lamu, and Addu City. These ventures signify a substantial expansion of the nation's hospitality infrastructure intended to accommodate shifting global preferences. Included among these priorities is halal tourism, a segment Minister Tariq described as gaining traction with active efforts underway to strengthen its presence in the Maldives. The minister added that Singaporean investors are already active in the Maldives tourism industry and other commercial sectors. Minister Tariq further stated that the forum is expected to prompt further capital inflows and encourage existing stakeholders to broaden their engagement. Among the forum's headline developments was the signing of a contract for the Maldives' first Special Economic Zone or SEZ initiative, a 100-megawatt floating solar photovoltaic or PV installation named Solar City. The contract was awarded to APM SPV Private Limited, a special-purpose entity incorporated in the Maldives, to undertake the project. Minister Tariq said groundwork is expected to begin promptly with completion targeted within 2 years. Designated under the SEZ framework, the Solar City initiative marks a landmark in the country's renewable energy efforts. It has received direct support from President Muiz, who authorized administrative facilitation to accelerate implementation. As specified in the presidential resolution confirming its SEZ status, the installation is set to take place east of Kudabandos within the Greater Malay region. The Ministry of Tourism and Environment says that Maldives records 144,173 tourist arrivals from China to date, a 17.5% increase over the same period last year, when the figure stood at 122,608. The recovery places China at the forefront of the Maldives tourism landscape, a position it last held before dropping to third in 2023. As the first country to exceed 100,000 arrivals this year, it has once again solidified its role as a key driver of inbound travel. Nationwide, overall arrivals have reached 1,119,182 so far in 2025, an increase of 9.2% compared with the 1,025,296 tourists recorded during the corresponding period last year. Among other leading contributors, Russia has reported 128,431 arrivals, while the United Kingdom registered 109,132, placing both firmly among the top 3 source markets. Italy followed with 87,215 visitors, and Germany recorded 82,676, completing the list of 5 largest international segments. Visitor accommodation trends continue to reflect established preferences, with resorts maintaining their dominant position by accounting for 72.4% of all stays. Guest houses attract 22.5% of visitors, while hotels represented a smaller fraction of 2.2%. To meet an annual target of 2.3 million arrivals, the government is banking on infrastructure improvements to accelerate growth. The opening of the new passenger terminal at Vilena International Airport, slated for the 26th of July, is expected to expand capacity and streamline operations, strengthening the sector's ability to absorb rising demand. The Ministry of Finance and Planning announces for interested contractors for the harbor upgrade project of Ratafandu Gaf Dal Atoll. President Dr. Mohamed Muiz, during his visit to Ratafandu as part of his tour of several islands in the Huvadu Atoll, Gaf Alava and Gaf Dal Atolls in January, had pledged to address the concerns over the island harbor. The president had underscored the community's aspiration for harbor development and confirmed that Ratafandu's harbor would be developed as part of the administration's initiatives this year. In line with the presidential pledge, the ministry has now opened the opportunity to submit bids for the Ratafandu Harbor Upgrade Project. The ministry said the project will be implemented on a design and build basis, and all documents related to the project will be available on its website. Bids for the projects must be submitted through the bid portal by 1 p.m. on the 23rd of July, with the bid opening scheduled for 10 a.m. the following day. Under the project, 221 meters of outer embankment installations of harbor lights, 21 meters of revetment, construction of 312.7 meters of jetty, and sand filling will be carried out. Maldives Airports Company Limited conducts a staff training program to operate the new aerobridges ahead of the grand opening of the new international passenger terminal at the Vilhena International Airport. The passenger boarding bridges at VIA's new terminal are being introduced for the first time in a Maldivian airport. According to MACL, so far 46 employees have been trained to operate the passenger boarding bridges, out of which 14 had undergone training in Malaysia. MACL said the purpose of the training is to familiarize the employees operating passenger boarding bridges with aviation industry standards and international best practices in operational safety of boarding bridges. Passenger boarding bridge mock trials were carried out by the staff to check alignment, docking accuracy, and operational readiness ahead of the new terminal's opening. MACL aims to train more staff to operate the passenger boarding bridges in the future through the employees trained in Malaysia. The terminal, scheduled to open in conjunction with Independence Day celebrations, is envisioned as a modern high-capacity hub. Staff training and operational preparedness continue apace, forming central pillars of MACL's final phase-out role. The new facility will span 78,000 square meters and is designed to handle up to 7 million passengers each year, representing a substantial increase from the current terminal's annual capacity of 1.5 million. The terminal will have 47 check-in counters designed with locally inspired designs, 6 self-service kiosks, and 24 counters dedicated for seaplane passengers. MACL will initially allocate the new passenger terminal to national airline Maldivians International Passengers. The Maldives contends for top honors at the South Asian Travel Awards, or SATA, an annual ceremony recognizing excellence in regional hospitality. The organizers of SATA has confirmed the 9th edition will take place in Sri Lanka from the 19th to the 20th of September. Established in 2016, SATA has emerged as a leading platform for honoring distinction across South Asia's travel and tourism industries. The awards span a diverse field, acknowledging achievement across hotels, resorts, tour operators, travel agencies, and emerging destinations. The program is endorsed by regional tourism bodies and international associations, and its selections are made by a panel of industry professionals and policy specialists. Beyond recognition, SATA functions as a forum for engagement, encouraging dialogue and spotlighting innovative practices that influence the region's evolving travel landscape. 6 South Asian countries are expected to take part in this year's edition, according to the organizers, with the Maldives named among the contenders. More than 500 nominations have already been submitted, suggesting a broadened scope and rising interest in the program's competitive categories. This elevated profile is reflected in the endorsement of 18 sectoral organizations, among them the Sri Lanka Tourism Promotion Bureau. The Maldives enters the 2025 edition with a record of strong performance. At SATA 2024, the island nation earned 30 accolades, including 15 global gold awards and 14 silver awards across a variety of categories. It also received the Visitor's Choice Award for leading beach destination, reinforcing its reputation among international travelers and industry observers. The Addu City Council invites bids for the lease of land for the development and operation of a tourist guest house and city hotel in Huludu, Addu City. According to the City Council, this project is carried out to achieve the objectives of creating job opportunities, to minimize the unemployment rate among youth, and to stimulate the economy of Addu City by enhancing private sector investments in local tourism. Addu City Council has invited eligible investors, both local and foreign, to submit interest to develop tourist guest houses, city hotels in designated tourism zones. This zone is located at the south tip of Huludu near Canarif Resort. The 4.65 hectares of beachfront land is allocated for guest houses, hotels, and support services. A total of 13 plots of land will be allocated for the development of 11 guest houses and 2 city hotels in Huludu. These include 6 plots for the development of 10-room tourist guest houses, 4 plots for the development of 15-room guest houses, and 1 plot for the development of a 25-room guest house. In addition, 1 plot for the development of a 60-room city hotel and 1 plot for the development of a 35-room city hotel will also be allocated. The announcement includes the areas, lot numbers, and land allocation chart indicating the size of the land plots. Land will be leased for a maximum period of 50 years, and interested parties may obtain further information, inspect and purchase the bidding documents from the 3rd of July 2025 to the 13th of July between 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Ardu currently has 3 operational resorts. While the city also has operational guest houses, various plans have been made to expand tourism in the city. As such, the government has launched tourism zones in the city, with plans also made to expand local tourism. Furthermore, the biggest tourism development plan of the city to date, Hankende Integrated Tourism Project, has also been launched, with additional plans to implement tourism projects in 3 islands reclaimed for the purpose of tourism development. A coastal tourism project will also be implemented in the city. Maldivian Blood Services introduces a hotline especially for thalassemia patients. MBS, which caters to thalassemia patients, said it has introduced a hotline to ease access to services. The hotline number is 733-645. The Maldivian Blood Service stated that information can be obtained through this hotline during service hours, in addition to Viber and WhatsApp messaging platforms. Families of thalassemia patients often encounter numerous challenges in accessing necessary treatments such as bone marrow transplants. In response, the government has implemented various measures to alleviate these issues and ensure that services are accessible within the country. An update on business news. U.S. President Donald Trump says he has signed letters to 12 countries outlining the various tariff levels they would face on their goods imported into the United States. Trump told reporters aboard Air Force One that the letters would be sent out on the 7th of July. He declined to say which countries would be in the first batch of letters.
I did. I signed some letters, and they'll go out on Monday, probably 12. 12 different amounts of money, different amounts of tariffs, and somewhat different statements.
Mr. President, which countries will receive those letters on Monday?
You'll be announced. I have to announce it on Monday. I can't do it.
Trump had told reporters earlier on Friday that he expected letters to go to most countries by July 9th, when higher reciprocal tariffs that he paused for 90 days are due to go into effect. European stocks declined as investors braced for the impact of looming U.S. tariffs, with Germany's DAX index dropping to a low of 23,703.65 points amid market uncertainty. At the Frankfurt Stock Exchange, traders closely monitored developments surrounding U.S. President Donald Trump's recently passed legislation dubbing the Big Beautiful Bill. As markets remained volatile, the DAX index fluctuated throughout the session, reflecting investor uncertainty over the tariff deadline. Banking stocks also showed mixed performance amid broader concerns over economic stability. Moving on to international news, deadly flash floods unleashed by torrential rains in Texas submerges homes and vehicles in San Angelo City, as authorities reported at least 24 people were killed and dozens more missing. An eyewitness drone video showed the scale of devastation left by the floods as trees, houses, and cars were rendered underwater. The footage showed a house was also swept into the middle of a road. The location of the video from the buildings, road layout, street lights, businesses, structures, and road signs seen in the video matched file and satellite imagery of the area and is confirmed by international news media outlet Reuters. Authorities said that among the missing were 23 to 25 people listed as unaccounted for at an all-girls Christian summer camp located on the banks of the rain-engorged Guadalupe. Top stories in sports. Spanish international Nico Williams has signed a new 8-year contract extension which will keep him at Athletic Bilbao until 2035, ending speculation over a potential departure to Barcelona. Athletic added that Williams' transfer release clause had been increased by more than 50%, with reports in Spanish media saying the earlier clause was worth around 62 million euros. The 22-year-old Spanish international, whose previous contract ran until 2027, is one of Athletic's most prized assets and has made 167 appearances for them in all competitions. Williams said in a statement, quote, "When it comes to making decisions, for me, the most important thing is to listen to your heart. I am where I want to be with my people. This is my home," unquote. Last month, Athletic rebuked fans who erased Williams from a mural featuring him and his brother Inaki, who also plays for the club, amid reports linking him with a move to La Liga champions Barcelona. The mural was defaced after Barca sporting director Deco said they could target the winger who scored in last year's European Championship final against England to guide Spain to a record 4th title. Insight into entertainment. In a colorful workshop in East Jerusalem, puppet maker Abed Esalam Abdo busily transforms tin cans, cotton, and wood into characters that entertain children growing up in a world increasingly dominated by digital screens. 61-year-old Abdo said that this art fascinated him. Over the years, Abdo has created a cast of whimsical characters, from hand puppets to elaborate figures made from recycled materials. One of his puppets, Dadun, was built 30 years ago using sardine cans for shoes, a teapot for a face, and Coca-Cola bottle caps for eyes. Abdo says puppet theater is a powerful tool to spark children's imagination. His most recent production, Alice in Wonderland, drew enthusiastic crowds. Amer Khalil, director of the Al-Hakawati Theater, said puppet theater in the Palestinian territories is still in its early stages and faces multiple obstacles. Khalil cited restrictions on movement imposed by Israel, including military checkpoints and the barrier separating Jerusalem from the West Bank, as challenges in bringing performances to a wider audience. Israel annexed East Jerusalem after the 1967 Middle East War in a move not recognized internationally. It sees Jerusalem as its eternal and undivided capital. Abdo remains committed to his craft. He hopes that one day there will be an institute to train new generations in the art of puppetry. And that's all the news we have for today. We'll be back with any further updates. Until then, I'm Abdullah Ahil from PSM News.